All right. So welcome to Rural University.
Had to step my game up. When you bring my name up, they gon' say I came up. They gon' say I changed up. Step my game up. When you bring my name up, they gon' say I came up. They gon' say I changed up. Step my game up. When you bring my name up, they gon' say I came up. They gon' say I
This
changed up.
podcast is
Step
all
my
about mental health,
game up. When you bring my
financial
name
literacy,
up, they gon' say I came up.
relationships,
They gon' say I
and anything under the sun that falls under those categories. Okay. All right. Y'all, so welcome to Rural University. We are jumping right in this thing. I've already been running my mouth for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes now with this beautiful doctor here. But this is going to be, episode 10 for us. So I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me on this journey with all of my inconsistencies and all of my flaws and insecurities about not doing a good job of promoting this shit. But we're going to get better. We're going to keep on rolling. If y'all didn't check out last episode, that was my first episode internationally. We now have an international audience. We got people in Colombia, Belize, and Canada, y'all that have been listening, man. So I appreciate y'all. Shout out to y'all everywhere. But we're here now. This is episode 10. I'm in Medellin, Colombia. Y'all can't see my view right now, but it's raining crazy. And it's not very pretty right now, but we downtown and we have an amazing guest today. And so I will turn it over to you, Ms. B, and let you introduce yourself to the people.
Well, thank you so very much. My name is Dr. Brittany Chambers. I'm actually a recent graduate with my doctoral degree from the Clark Atlanta.
Hold on, say that again, Dr. What? Hold on, what?
It's Dr. Brittany Chambers now. And like I said, a recent graduate of the illustrious Clark Atlanta University and HBCU, for those of you who do not know that. But I'm originally from Waco, North Carolina. It's a little small country town with one stoplight. And I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. I got my first degree from UNC Chapel Hill, which is where I met John, and my master's from North Carolina Central. And like I said, my doctoral degree from Clark Atlanta University. I'm currently a professor and researcher at Morehouse College. And I love doing research, helping STEM students figure out what works best for our African-American students in STEM, how we can, route them into those degrees and professions, because that's where the money is. And we want our students to be able to go to college, capitalize off that degree, come out, very little debt, and get a good job, and, be able to live comfortably and build wealth for their family, and, even help their previous family as well. So, that's kind of my passion. It's always been my passion. I've been a teacher. I've been an administrator. I've worked nonprofit. I've worked private. Every sector of education I've probably worked in and now been a part of myself. So, I'm just really excited to be here and share my journey. It's definitely been an interesting one. I know a lot of people see me smiling and happy and they watch me on social media, but it's a lot of pain and it's a lot of trials and tribulations and rainy days that makes this flower bloom, So, I definitely want to share some of those today. Some of my experiences, I'm definitely flawed. I think we all are. And the more you can recognize those, the better you can be. Because I think, when you know better, it is your duty to do better. So, John.
Look, that was I don't think I could have said that any better. Normally anybody who's listening to this podcast, that I'll typically kind of end the show with saying like, hey, if you kind of fucked up like me and you trying to get your life together and get your shit together, then tune in, listen, tap in with me. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you got all your shit together and you're perfect and you just sunshine and rainbows all of the time, then come on as a guest, right? And so, I think you said it perfectly, right? Like, although we have a laundry list of accomplishments and degrees and, everything that we've done, as far as our resume, right? That there is still a lot of things in the background that people may not necessarily see, right? I mean, you're actually confident enough and brave enough to share your workout journey and all these different things, right? But a lot of people don't see, you know, the early mornings and working out and sweating and having an ugly face at the gym to have the body, right? So
They definitely don't. The crusty eyes, the days where I'm like, I do not want to get up.
yeah,
The days where my hair is still tied up, you don't get any content those days. You know, I only get content on the days where I feel like my outfit matches.
yeah,
You know, I got my earrings in, my hair look all right.
yeah,
But it's a lot of work. It is.
yeah. Well, so we've talked a lot, generally like I normally do before all my shows start. I run my mouth, y'all. I apologize. But what we're talking about today, so relationship wise, so the topic is women often say, I lose myself when I start dating someone or someone that I really like, right? And so, from your perspective or experience, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like, let me know.
Look, I will say this. My last relationship taught me a lot about myself, things that I really didn't know about myself. And it made me realize there were things that I wanted in a relationship that I hadn't been getting that I was now exposed to. But what I realized is that I was definitely losing myself. And that is not a healthy relationship. A healthy one is where you can, you know, where your individuality can still be nurtured and you can find a good balance between the two. And basically, what that means is that we get caught up. We're so consumed with this man. We are so into him, everything he's doing. We want to be on his set. If he asks us to go to the store, we're trying to go to the store with him. Like, what you doing today? I'm trying to be over there with you.
Yeah.
And you just get lost in everything he's doing because you just want to be around him, underneath him. You know, they say if you could just crawl into his skin, you might crawl into his skin a little bit. It gets to that extremes. And it got there for me because what I realized is that, you know, I would say my last relationship, he was very fond of more diverse places that you go out, and it really reminds you of like UNC, Franklin Street, but you know, even wider sometimes. And you know, for me, I love Black people. I love my people. You know, I want to hear, you know, some rap, you know, rap music. I want to hear some R&B, some soul. We can even do old school, but you know, I'm getting there to listen to like techno and electronic and
Okay.
okay, next thing you know, I'm listening to this in my car. Next thing you know, we get tickets and we go to concerts. And I'm like, what? I don't even be doing this, you know, like,
Yeah.
and just, you know, just certain things and even other things that I was still doing. So I can definitely relate to that. And I mean, sometimes guys get lost in what girls are doing too. I mean, John, I know you may not, but there's some guys out there who get lost in their women too. I had guys who just been so into me. I'm like, go find something else to do.
Oh, damn. Wow.
Like,
you know what?
go find something else to do.
I feel like, so just from a natural, you know, intuition kind of standpoint, I feel like it's easier for women to fall in that space of like, all right, I want to do everything this person is doing. Whereas, and I don't know, actually, I want people to kind of hit me up, DM me, comment, whatever, to see if maybe this is just a, you know, former athlete type of a mindset where those type of guys are big and macho, beating on their chest, but we don't really typically get lost in the woman, right? Like we doing our own thing. And if anything, it's the woman that we're dating that adopts our lingo, our music, the types of things we like to do. And so I think like, and oftentimes, now that I think about it, guys may have an unrealistic expectation as far as how soon we even want you to fall in line with us. Like if I'm dating you and if I raw dog that thing, you mine, right? So from day one.
Wait a minute. We need to no, wait a minute. Is that a real thing? Do guys really think if they raw dog it, it's theirs? I'm just asking. I'm just wondering because because I mean, like, what happens to actually communicating with that woman? I want to make you my lady. You know, I want this coochie to only be mine. Cause I mean, just that's not enough. Like, that's what I'm asking. Like, if y'all are intimate, y'all been working, you know, building on that, y'all take that step, take the condom off, you know, you whatever. Why wouldn't you think that you still needed to communicate and say, hey, you know, I want to make you my lady, like let's be exclusive? Because like I hear, dude, you're not the first man to say that. And I'm like, that's really what you thought? Like, I was in a situation dating this guy. We got to a level where we like, okay, we want to do it without the condom. You know, we couldn't find one. We like, we want to do it. We're going to do it. So we did it. And, you know, eventually, you know, things got kind of weird. And then he was just like, you know, what's going on with you? And I'm like, what you talking about? He was like, you know, we together and you've been, I don't know, you've been acting mad weird. I'm like, we are not together. And then he brought up the whole like, we, you know, we had sex unprotected, you know, that's my coochie. And I'm like, sir,
Right. Oh,
that's
Lord.
not how this works. You need to use your big boy words and you need to
Okay.
communicate, because that's not how this works. So that's why it's like, wait a minute, that might be a thing for real. He was not joking. He was for real.
Okay, well, I don't want to speak, you know, for all men. And I probably have a much more limited viewpoint or experience when it comes to men, just because most of the guys that I knew or hung out with in their own right, or in their own space, they were all pretty successful, right? And so they kind of have a more type A personality or more of a, you know, dominant aura about themselves. So the first thing that I would say is we probably don't do the best with words, right? We kind of go more off actions, right? And so my big thing, especially like back in the day, is like, yo, if I kiss you in the mouth, you just elevated to like, you ain't just one of my, like, cause I've had girls that I've had sex with for years and can't tell you how many teeth they got. I ain't never kissed them in the mouth. I don't know what their lips feel like other than ... right? And so,
And like, what do you get out of that? Just by chance.
well, if it's,
And then we can go back to this idea of unprotected sex equals we go together.
yeah, so I mean, if it's just sex and we just, that's pretty much it. Like if we go through our text message string and it consists of, hey, what you doing? Come through. I'm outside. Hey, what you doing? Where you at? Come through. I'm outside. If that's the only text message, you ain't made it yet, sis. You know what I'm saying? You got some work to do. But if we get to a point where I'm actually like talking to you, and I mean, even after we actually already have sex, I'm still talking to you just as much as I was when I was trying to get it, and I kiss you in the mouth. Oh yeah, like you done started to separate yourself a little bit. And especially if I raw dog, like you definitely mine. Like I'll tell you, this is how.
John, stop with that logic.
Bro, this is how.
I don't want anybody to pick that up and think that that's okay.
It's definitely not okay. And here's how not okay it is. Okay, it is so not okay that my main girl was how I determined whether or not I had an STD. So my main girl was the clean, good girl. And so if she came back cussing me out, oh my God, I got chlamydia, that's how I knew, oh shit, this bitch not burning, right? And so I that is not anything that I'm proud of. Lord bless me that it was just something that I could just get a shot up my ass and 7 days later I'm good. And I'm back in the game, coach, but I'm just kidding, y'all. That ain't funny. STDs are real.
All I'm gonna say is
be safe.
this is a no judgment zone, but you are not the only man that operate like that either. I done also had dudes who I was messing with, dating, you know, they were my boyfriends. I'm going to the doctor, you know, I'm telling them I'm clean, whatever, telling them go to the doctor. They was like, well, if you clean, I'm clean. I'm like,
right.
No, that's not how this works. Because at the minute that you decide to step out and then you think like, oh, okay, well, my girl's still clean. No, I don't know. You're not about to let me be your pedometer of your cleanliness. So that,
right.
Fellas, please do not do that. That is so unfair and not right to the ladies. That is wrong, throwing pH balances off all over the world. Please don't do that. Okay, please don't do that. Yeah, I'm glad you're a better man now, John.
Yes, fellas, definitely do not do that. All the youngins, don't do it. It ain't cool. It ain't worth it, right? It ain't worth it. And that's like awkward as hell to have all them conversations and yeah. So anyway, It ain't cool. I will say that. But to your point, right? So getting back to why men think, okay, just because we reach this level of sexual intimacy,
Yeah.
we good now, or I'm you my girl, right? Um, I think in our heads, right, if we're doing something that intimate, for one, we kind of feel as if, okay, well, if you even allow for me to do that, hopefully you're of the quality of woman that isn't just allowing just everybody to do it, right? Which is kind of where the mindset of, oh, well, if you clean, I'm clean type thing. Whereas if we didn't have that mindset, or if the bar was so low that everybody could just shoot the club up, then it's kind of like, all right, well, I probably shouldn't be raw dogging you in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But however wrong that may be, we still have to do a better job of using our words. And sometimes, you know, what I will say in my past, using my words would be a way to paint me into a corner, right? And so there weren't many situations where I've actually had a woman tell me, oh, okay, well, just because you raw dog me, like, I ain't yours. Like, most of the time, and I ain't trying to brush my shoulders off, but typically if we get to that point, they like, oh, I'm definitely yours now, right? And so I think that was probably very humbling for that young man to hear, what? I done gave you my best top performance and you still like, what?
Well, okay, so that's the thing. I literally had a man today tell me, I told him, like, you know, he was like, you know, basically kind of like what happened with us, you know, I know the chemistry was there. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I was feeling you, I was always, you know, crushing on you, whatever. And he was just like, if you was crushing on me, it must have been real low key, like as low as an ant. He was like, because I would have never known that you was crushing on me or that you was feeling me in any way. And I was like, wow, am I really giving that off? Like, how do I change that? Like, I was like, maybe that's why the guys that I really like, I don't know what it is. They make me very like soft or like very like, I don't know, like I need to be kind of standoffish, you know, like. So I don't know. And then I think I'm so standoffish that they're not catching the hints. You know, they're like, she must not like me. I guess they expected me then to like jump on them. I don't know. He's not the first dude to tell me that either. And it's really blowing me. That blew me today. And I was like, wow, I like, what do you think about a woman like, have you ever had a woman like that who you felt like she was feeling you, but you was unsure because it's like she just may be too chill about it. Like she
Right,
just
right. I definitely have had that experience and situation, I think numerous times. And I would say the common thread with those women, or the commonality with them, was they were so, this may sound weird, but they were so smart, they were dumb, right? They were so strong that they were weak. And what I mean by that is that as a woman, you can be so strong or guarded or mystic in how you display your affection or your desire for a man that it almost comes off as we are unneeded or unwanted, right? And so again, going back to the natural intuition of us, right? How women just fall in line and start adapting their men typically yearn to feel wanted and to feel desired, right? That a woman tapping into that for a man is what awakens a lot of the maturity, a lot of the stepping up to the plate, a lot of the let me put this bullshit, childish shit behind me, because if this woman who is strong and got everything going for herself and this and that, if she is displaying that she actually yearns for me and desires me, one, if I'm still childish, I'm still gonna fuck off and trick off and I'm gonna fuck the relationship up. That's gonna happen, right? But if I'm transitioning out of that space, or if I'm getting into a much more mature space and I see that from that woman, it's probably gonna make me say, okay, all right, let me learn her love languages. Babe, let's do this little 50 question test real quick while we sitting on the couch bullshitting, so that way I can learn her and what she wants and what she needs from me in return, right? And so if there isn't a feeling of that yearning or desire, as a man, we will not, I repeat, will not, at least the type of men I associate with, right? We will not likely put ourselves in a position to overextend ourselves for somebody who's like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Right.
Apparently
Who
I give
wants it?
off, I give off like, I've had too many guys tell me after the fact, we still cool. They might hit me in my DMs, text me, how you doing? Say congratulations, several this year.
Right.
Just like checking in with me, and they'd be like, what happened with us, Brittany? And I'm like, I really liked you. Like, I don't know what more you wanted from me. And
Right.
they was like, they was like, this one dude literally said, like, I never even knew you liked to kiss. I'm like, I thought we kissed. I thought we kissed. I thought we kissed.
So I
I don't
think
know.
it and it also too may be it may be a little bit on the guy's end that we need to do a better job at initiating like that level of vulnerability, right? But I don't know. I guess just because we're men, I don't know what the true answer is or rhyme or reason, but typically we expect for a woman to have a certain level of softness and vulnerability about herself. And so two men can't be in a relationship together. I mean, they can, no disrespect to anybody, right? But like typically two men can't be in a relationship. And so if you have that energy about yourself, I'm probably gonna seek a more feminine version of you, right? And especially if you have the attitude about yourself that you are so unique. And it's like, sis, everybody got on their wall, eat, pray, love, or, what I'm saying, laugh, live, laughed, and laughter, whatever the fuck that little thing is. Like, all of y'all posting the same woman with the purse, walking behind, leaving all of the bullshit, toxic relationships, stepping into the new year. Like, just like all men who think they so different and they got the best sex game and whoop whoop. All of y'all are saying, hey, how you doing? On that very first message, or you know what I mean? Like most of the time, we probably are operating within the same insecurities or same realm, right? And so I think once you humble yourself and realize, okay, yes, I am unique, I am a one of one, but I still have to open myself up to this, if this is what I truly desire. Now, if you don't desire that, you can be Wonder Woman at 57 years old, who hopefully don't have no serious ailments or cancers or anything where you have to depend on family members to come and wipe your ass. But if you would prefer an actual spouse to be with you and who can take care of you, and the same thing for a man, right? Like you have to recognize, okay, what areas of my life, what energies am I giving off? What things does this other sex want from me out of a relationship that I could probably do a little bit of better job at actually presenting? You know what I'm saying? And so,
well, I think it goes back to the conversation we was having previous to this, till we got on here, really about, my whole idea of my identity and how I've, kind of been like self-identifying myself and just, just who I am, who I am and everything that makes me who I am. And now that I'm so secure in that, now that I love that woman, I'm very happy. I told you I feel whole. I can be whole and attract that. Like it's crazy how I feel like doing this work on me, getting to this place, my level of attraction to certain men just is so different. Like just even the places that I used to go, just some men who I would normally like might have would have gave the time of day, like he fine, but I can just tell, look, by his outfit, the way he talking to me, everything, he's not it, like this would be a good time, but not a long time. Drake always tell us.
right.
So, I just felt like I don't want that anymore. And I've definitely been attracting better by far, but still not quite the thing that makes pull me in. And people say I'm shallow. Call me shallow. I'm sorry. Y'all can call me shallow today, I die. But if you're not attracted to the person that you're with,
Oh
them
yeah,
eyes gonna wonder whether you a male or a female. I
right,
don't care. And so I need to be initially attracted to the man that I want to be with, because it's a guy who called me shallow.
right.
And he was like, I'm not the best looker, but I can give you everything you want in a man. Cool. But you can't give me that. So no,
Right,
you can't.
yeah.
So
Well,
you can't give me everything I want. And I'm not being, I don't want, like I said, call me shallow to the day I die, but y'all need to live in reality. And I live in reality. Okay. And I'm not going to settle for that, knowing that that would possibly lead me to step out on my marriage or my husband, or I just, even just to be tempted. Why would you even want to put yourself in a position where you might be tempted and this person is potentially not giving you everything that you want? I don't want that. So I would rather wait and be patient. And I mean, I feel like God has told me my time is coming soon. I'll get that mate that was for me. We'll work, we'll build, we'll do great things together.
yeah,
But I just need to continue to be patient. But it took me some time to get here. It took me some heartache, some not eating over niggas who broke my heart.
yeah,
People y'all didn't even know I was dealing with broke my heart. I'm
yeah,
sitting over, y'all just seeing me post on social media like normal, go work out. I'm
yeah,
coming home sad on the couch, crying, just playing around with me, because I'm like, why would you waste my time? You
yeah,
pursued me, sir.
right,
And literally, we start kicking in, you taking me out, introduce me to your family, your friends. Why would you waste? What was the point?
right. Well, I mean, that's definitely, I think, one, most people, I strongly dislike social media from the standpoint that it's only a highlight reel. Like most high level athletes know that when you present yourself and any organization is looking to acquire you as talent, they typically say, hey, send me your highlight film. And then they also say, send me one full game film. Pick whatever game you want. But yeah, the highlights are cool, but I also need to see what plays you give up on, you stop hustling, you stop whatever, right? And so I think social media gives us the highlight reel, but it doesn't give us the full game, right? Of the behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? And so another point is I would ask for all very successful superwoman women, right? To 3, 5, and 10. I'll say that. So I want you to first write a list of your 3 best qualities or attributes, and then look at that list. And if you bought up that list and threw it on the ground outside, and anybody picked up that list, would they think that a man wrote that list or a woman? Right? And then I want you to write your top 5 qualities and do the same thing. If somebody found this random list with no name on it, would they think, oh, damn, this must be a man because it says assertive, driven, competitive, successful, fierce, right? And then do a top 10 list. And at what point would somebody look at that list and say, wow, this is a very soft, nurturing, loving, whatever that type of woman is that you desire to be, or more importantly, the type of woman that you think the man would want if you had your desirable man, right? So if you want an ultra competitive, ultra successful man, and he read your list of a top 3, would he think that he was reading a list of a man or the type of woman that he wanted to be with? Or would he have to read a top 10 list before he finally got to number 6, 7, 8, and 9 to say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm soft and I'm sensitive and I like being in your skin? Like, damn, ma, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And so that's a challenge to all women. And the same thing for men. I want you to write a list, top 3, top 5, top 10. And are you really that guy who you portray to be on social media? Or you got some?
I appreciate that. I'm actually gonna do that. And I'm also gonna do that on social media. I'm gonna put my list up there and I'm gonna ask them. I love to do a little research via social media. So I'm gonna test that out. I'm gonna test that theory, but I'm also gonna pull a little education in on this and say, social learning theory is a theoretical framework that's used in psychology. But it basically says that we learn from our environment and we learn from the things that we're exposed to. I think what we also have to pull into the context of why this single successful Black woman who is assertive and driven and ambitious and all of those things that you just said has embodied those labels and those titles because there was a paradigm shift, not just within the Black family, but in the world, specifically in, the United States. And so when you had an attack on the Black family and it's pulling families apart, and as much as people try to act like that's not a real thing, it is very much a real thing. It very much happened. It can be documented in so many ways. But that's a whole nother podcast. But when you go back and think about all of that and where it put Black women in a space to have to fend for themselves. So I mentioned my dad, is no longer with us. He was killed by a gun. He was out celebrating his birthday and somebody came in shooting, and he was taken away from my mom and myself. Needless to say, that put my mom in a position to have to teach me, like, I'm showing you, I'm having to raise you on my own. Like, and do this without your dad. She never remarried. But she just showed me how to do that. My grandmothers, my aunties, they all poured into me how to just be this woman that can just do it themselves, because they were never that woman. I love the women they were.
Right.
Such amazing women, but they were never that woman. So then you get this generation of women like me, these millennial women. Yeah. And it's like, we have this chip on our shoulder and we got this expectation been put on our backs of, we got to show up for the family no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like when my male cousins have had hard times, they didn't go to each other. They came to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, with some of my mama's male cousins who get in financial hardships or whatever, they would come to her, they've stayed at our house. So having to take on that responsibility has also put this weight on my shoulder. Like even with a lot of my male friends, like when they have vulnerable moments, when they've needed to borrow money, when they don't go to each other, they come to me. Right. And I feel like I've created that space for them where they can feel vulnerable with me, but it hasn't left me a space to be vulnerable back. You know what I'm saying? So it's put up this guard with me, and it's made me feel like I gotta be, the one that's like, well, I'm already strategizing and thinking of a better plan than you possibly could think of. Because that's just, I got to be steps ahead. So I just want to bring that into context too. I'm deconstructing all of that. Like I understand, that's not a normal place where me as a woman, where I want to operate. I don't value that space. I don't want to be the superwoman. I don't want this cape. Somebody else can have it. Please come take it from me. And I want to be in a soft space where I can just be vulnerable and just, allow a man to lead me, but trust that he's leading us in the right direction. Right. And that is another piece. Like, it's more than just being financially set. Are you mentally there? Are you emotionally available for me and yourself, so that you can communicate with me when things aren't right, so you can lean into me and we can lean into each other? Are you spiritually there? Because I believe in prayer, and I believe, that'll get us through times where we just can't even say nothing, that, we can't even talk to each other. Right. Those are the things that I'm looking for now. And that's where I'm feeling like the men are lacking. It's not in the money anymore right now for me. It's more or less in those things that it's like, but you're emotionally unavailable. You don't want to talk about your feelings. You get upset and be like, I need this, I need space.
Yeah.
How are we going to resolve it if you need space every 2 days?
Right. Well, I definitely want to challenge men to, if you, like, everybody listening right now, go back and just rewind what she just said. Because not only is it powerful, but it's really a call to action. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of men to step up in other ways that don't require you to beat on your chest, right? And I think throughout my process and as I continue my journey, ironically, the strongest that I've ever felt has not been, things that I've done in the past, right? That we can't, shout out to my lawyer, that we can't get into. But the strongest times that I felt are times of vulnerability, right? And times where I can actually, man, I don't know, what am I gonna do about this? This is how I'm feeling about that, or whatever, right? So I would definitely challenge men to do that. It's a book called Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. I definitely recommend everybody to read that. He has a part 2 called Boundaries in Dating. I definitely recommend everybody to read that. But true to your point, a lot of women have had to adopt a dual characteristics, right? Like, yeah, I'm a woman and I smell good and I'm nice, and my hands may not have calluses on it, but I'm a full-blown savage out here when it comes to being assertive and, competitive and going after what I want and actually accomplishing it. So, one, kudos to y'all for even having the bandwidth to do both things. But also, fellas step the fuck up and actually wrestle that woman in a fucking headlock and take the cape off to let her know that she can chill, right? And at the same time, from what I'm hearing, what will aid her in her ability to take that cape off is your ability to open up and be more vulnerable and actually have some space for her to be vulnerable as well. So, we definitely got to do that. I got a cheap version, y'all, of this whole electronic setup. So this thing probably gonna cut out on this. It looks like in 4 minutes and 5 seconds. But I definitely think you hit on one point that we probably gonna have to have a part 2 about, just about dynamics. And there was even something that I was kind of diving into as far as like the Rockefellers having like basically a plan to like implement feminism. They're like, hey, we got a whole subset of the population that's a stay-at-home mom that we ain't getting taxes on, we ain't getting no money on this and that. And so how all of that has kind of played into dynamics, relationship wise and in the business space, right? So anyway, I've been running my mouth a lot.
This has been amazing. I just want to say thank you for having me here today to just get some of this out. I always value speaking to other people, specifically men. I have my male friends, but I like speaking to men who, I know from some point in my life, and I might know a little bit about their past, but I can see where they are now. And I value that. So kudos to you John, for working on yourself and being accountable. I think that's something that we all have to do, is just be accountable for where we once were and where we're trying to be, and the person that we're trying to become. So I think, kudos to you for that, because that's just not an easy thing to do, especially as a Black man in this country with so much pressure. I'm not one of those women to believe that we need to be fighting about who has the greatest struggle. We both got our struggles, okay? Black women, we dealing with our stuff. Black men dealing with their stuff. Let's both hop off the struggle bus together.
Right.
Like, let's both leave the struggle bus. I don't want to be on there anymore.
Right.
I don't want y'all to be on there either. Let's leave together. And like I said, I've had to do work on me. My book gets into that. So for you, those of you, I have a book coming out next year, but I'm finishing it this year, but it'll come out next year. It's called Token, and it is my story about my life. I get real transparent in there and real candid about some stuff that I wasn't too proud of, but I feel like, it's a part of my journey and other people could benefit from, me telling this story. And so I just want to share it with others, and hopefully to help you guys cleanse and deconstruct and reconstruct and just put yourself on a better path forward, your true purposeful path in life. That's what I want to help people do. That's what I'm doing now. So again, thank you, John, for having me today.
Yeah, look, this has been great. I think we might need to we need a part 2 of this thing. So yeah. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped for your book coming out. Everything that we've talked about beforehand, before we even press record. Amazing woman, amazing doctor, beautiful. You're doing the damn thing. I can't wait to see this list. I can't wait to see these polls. I'm gonna do my list as well. I'm gonna post it. I gotta learn how to do polls. I don't know how to do none of that shit. I typically screenshot something, and that's how I repost. Okay. So
I can't wait to do mine. I can't.
Yeah. So look, but yo, man, again, everybody, I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. Like I always say, hey, if you are trying to figure this life thing out, if you are on your journey every day trying to just get better and evolve, tap in, be a listener. And on the flip side, if you are a PhD and doing all these great things, writing books and got money flowing in from everywhere, like Dr. B right here, then come on the show, be a professor, teach us something, shed us some light, and help us get better, man. So I'm gonna put all her socials in the description, man. I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you so much. And this is Rural University, man. We out.
Yeah. Nice meeting you guys.